Previously on Engineering Couple Podcast.
A woman who is passionate about her dreams should not be a threat to you. You know, you can actually grow together with someone from school.
Initially, we clashed a whole lot, and I'm like,
you can have love in engineering.
Okay.
Welcome again to another episode. Just as I said last week, we're going to be talking more about something more engaging. And here I have my beautiful wife. As we said, but for now you'll see us more often before we begin to have some guests come around. But today we're going to be talking about the concept of jack of all trade, because usually we've been accused of that even as students.
Yes.
So we're not talking about our current lives now. We're talking about as a student on campus. So I'll let her go first on who do you think a jack of all trade is, and is it feasible? Not using our experience now, just generally. Do you think it is feasible? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So first off, actually, I think it was on LinkedIn. I saw that statement. Like, everybody knows the saying, jack of all trades is a master of none. Is a master of none. Yeah. The master of none. Yeah. Jack of all trades, the master of none. And that's where they stop there. And that's where they stop most of the time. But actually, I saw the full quote.
Yeah.
And they said the whole quote is, jack of all trades, master of none is better than the master of one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, oh, so this was actually the full thing, but like everybody just throws around jack of all trade and everything.
Master of none.
Master of none.
I think it's to validate laziness now. I don't want to sound controversial.
Yeah, so it is a very controversial topic.
Yeah.
And like everybody has their viewpoints on being a jack of all trades, quote unquote. Now, first off, I don't think anybody can be a jack of all trades.
Exactly.
Of all trades, unspeakable under the sun.
Yeah.
But one can be like a jack of many trades.
Yes.
Which we have found ourselves to be.
I think we just in it, and we can't do away with it.
Yeah, so I think I am a kind of person that I have a lot of interests, and I love exploring those interests. So it's not like, okay, some people can see, mechanical engineering and think that, okay, that's all she's thinking about in this life is just engineering. And then when I told somebody I do makeup, I was like, you? And then I was like, I'm interested in fashion. Really?
Come on.
I think at that time I learned to sew back in 2013 because my grandmother was a seamstress, not like a seamstress. Yeah. Funny enough, my grandmother was not even a seamstress. She was a mathematics teacher.
We're going to get to that really, because many people don't know that the older generation, as we call them, they had more than one thing they could
do.
I think it just got to a social media time, and then people began to take pride. Now we're going to talk about what it means to specialize.
Yes.
But let me have you continue your line of thought. Your grandmother.
Yeah. So my grandmother was a mathematics teacher, a very good one at that. Like, she was good with figures, and she married an accountant. So it was just like that combination.
Come on.
So she was very good with mathematics. And also, she loved to sew, so she knew how to sew. She had 6 children.
Wow.
She sewed for all of them in the family. So she was not like a commercial seamstress, but I knew her as a seamstress because even when we were growing up, she sewed almost all our clothes until we were like older, and she was older too at the time. And then like when it comes to confectionaries, like baking and everything, she did it all. So when it comes to cooking, baking, there are a lot of dishes that sometimes I tell you that, this is what we ate growing up.
Grandma.
Yeah, from my grandmother. And it's like, so it was like she was like a caterer, seamstress, fashion designer, everything. Like she even up to the point that she had like books on fashion in her house. And then it's like, okay, you see her sketches.
Wow.
Like it was that
good
that
and
good.
Detailed.
And when you now see, like, she used to show me pictures of my mom, even herself when they were younger, and it was like, this was what she sewed. Like they were almost like fashion stars.
Yeah.
So they looked rich.
Yes.
But even though they were not rich, because my grandmother was the one, when it comes to clothes, they were not buying it. So she was sewing everything. And then like food, she was taking care of like a lot of things. So it's just like she also had those interests aside from being a mathematics teacher.
Yeah.
And I felt like, okay, there's nothing that stops me from also like exploring other things aside from being a strict one person, because it just looks as if sometimes they look at some people just be like, okay, because you are like engineering inclined, that means you are not quote unquote feminine. I was like, what's there? Like, is it the cooking? I do that.
Yep.
Is it what else? Like, there's nothing I feel like I cannot do if I like I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
So like there are a lot of things I think we'll get into it that we are interested in and we explore. Not just like we are just interested at, but we also like almost go above and beyond in trying to explore it. And I think one thing that I learned from him, I love praising, singing his praises, is that he likes excellence.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the person that likes.
I will soon start singing her praises. So.
So he loves excellence, and when he sets his mind to do something, like he always gets it done. And yeah, so it just looks as if we explore a lot of interest. There was a time that we were doing graphic design. Design together.
Not that there was a time. I think we still do.
Yeah, he still does.
Okay.
So like a lot of things that we have delved into the arts, we delved into the sciences, even other aspects of engineering.
Yeah.
Like I think I have certifications in electrical engineering, computer, and everything. So we just delve into a lot of things, and people are looking at you like, why are you not focusing on one thing? Because I've had people counsel me, and like, okay, you're supposed to, like it's like you're everywhere. Try to focus on one thing. Let people know you for this one thing.
Yeah.
That's okay. People can know me for being a jack of all trades.
So I'll take it up from there. I think someone sent me a message that is a good friend. I'm not sure, because what I'm gonna say might not sound so well. So I'm not sure he will want me to give a shout out for that. You know, from where we come from, and generally people like it when you praise them. But so he sent me a text and was like, Timothy, when you die, what do you want people to know you for? It looks like, I think she knows the person. It looks like you've lived your life for other people. And the reason he said that was he felt like I just know so much. Even in my scriptural and doctrinal bias, I follow, a particular person over time, which I'm still going to talk about, but I want to keep it for the best time. And so it's looked like that. But so I told him, I said, the truth is, I think the very first attitude we must have is that behind every trade, now I'm not talking about rocket science, but behind every trade, the user, the creator's mind is for you to know how to use it. So because I think because of the ideology that people are trying to hide a specific knowledge, you then think yourself that no, it's not for me. I don't. So when I want to use Microsoft Word, for instance, I'm looking at, okay, this person, the creators of this, they want me to use it and to try to use it well. So when I'm probably doing a repetitive process, I try to look for, okay, there should be a better way to do this. And so I go for that. So eventually when you try to optimize your flow, it then looks like you're a jack of all trade, which really is not possible. When people say, oh, Timothy, you're good with so many things, I said, no, there are a lot of things I don't know how to do. A ton of things. Let's look for one. I think I don't know how to drive a truck, for instance.
Oh, what do you mean? You can always give him 1 hour with a truck and he's driving it.
I can learn how to do it, but as at this point, I don't know how to do it. So it shows that there are many things we can't do really, but just like my younger brother,
because you don't have interest in it,
exactly, or because there's no need
for it.
So when I spoke with my younger brother, and we shout out to him. He's also on our production team, the video team. Thaddeus, you can follow him on Twitter. Let me give him publicity at Tad Creative. I think that's what he calls himself. But when we were growing up, we had this ideology. He plays the instrument. He used to play the drums. Then he now plays the keyboard with me. I play the keyboard. And when you go for programs, because we're much younger, very young boys, people, the painful part is you go for a rehearsal. I think every musician can follow this. You go for a rehearsal, and then you're ready, and then they praise you. Two young boys, you rehearse with the choir for, let's say, 5 weeks, and on the day of the program, they now bring two brosses guys, and then one will man the keyboard, one man the drums. They will just come from nowhere. Then these are the two young boys that have carried keyboard on their head for weeks, and then they don't allow you play. And so we now told ourselves, that we're going to ensure that we might not be the best in the world. We might not be the Stevie Wonder and all of that, but we would try to be good at whatever we are doing that would not be a second option. Obviously, there will be people better than us. But when it comes to, let's say we rehearse with the choir, the choir would have so much confidence in us that they would not need to call another person. So I think that's how it has now been over the years. When we had the idea with my beautiful wife of this podcast, we looked at different ways on how to, not just optimize the budget, because we're still students, optimize the budget and all of that. But the major thing is the tools that are out there, they were made for you to use it. I know there are some tools that are made specifically for the top guys, the cinematography guys. There are some cameras you cannot just carry and start shooting. You have to understand the ISO and all of that. But so the thing about Jack of all trades is that let's not mistake what the quote is saying. First of all, we have been wrong in our usage. It's, as you have said, it's actually to promote you being a jack of all trades, not the other way around. But people have misused that quote to make people feel bad. So the thing is, you can actually do many things, and you can be fairly good in all of it. It's a mirror. It's a lie.
Yeah, I think one notion that I have, but I think I was discussing with, I'm not sure it was you or maybe someone, I was telling about that. A lot of this, what do they call, like professions that we have is just somebody that put a name to it.
Yes.
So, for example, someone will say like, mechatronics engineering, for example. It is a marriage of mechanical
engineering,
electrical, computer engineering, and then they came together and they just slapped the name to it and just called it mechatronics. I was like, what if in the future everything I'm doing comes under one name, and then you can justify that, she's good at this particular name or something.
Mecha-nutrition. So I think it's a lie that has been told over the years, and that's why I also implore people to try to always look at the wholesome context to things. It's one thing I beg my generation for. I don't think I'm a voice yet, but I'm just pleading that try to sit back and look at the whole context. We've taken a statement, we've taken it overboard. We just do things like that, and then we're now short. We restrict ourselves and make ourselves not so useful because, I think you can do so much. I
think
our brains are...
Yes, another thing is that like every profession or every skill, whatever, exists to solve a problem.
Yes.
So someone was like, okay, what is now the uniting factor of everything that you're doing? Like you're just like everywhere. So okay, my uniting factor is that I'm trying to help people.
Yep.
If that is what you want me to say, like that is exactly. So every discipline, whether you're in medicine or you're doing photography or you're trying to meet a need, you're trying to help people out, like that's the whole thing. You're just getting paid to do it, and maybe you can do it maybe better than some others, and that's why your charges are more, and then you invested like more time. Yes, we understand that people can be better than you.
Yes,
but even with that, you can never be the best in the world because there's always going to be someone better. So I just want to be good enough to be able to be the go-to person for whatever skill or interest. Yeah.
Oh, so let's look at it from this perspective. So it's I want to be good enough to be able to use that skill when I need it. Exactly. Yes. So it's like you saying, obviously, shout out to someone like Hiyodabasi, who could have cooked for that long. But I wouldn't need her, or probably except for exceptional cases where I need to...
You need PR.
Exactly. Or I need to cook. Let's even say I want to cook maybe something, she can cook. But for my day-to-day needs, I mean, I can just get into the kitchen and do... So I wouldn't say now that... I wouldn't call myself... I can call myself a chef. But it's not because... I went to school to study for it. It's just because I've met my needs.
Exactly.
And because I try to look for better ways to optimize it, I think I'm getting to be better at it. Yeah. Obviously, you can't compare me with somebody who just cook Indomie.
Indomie and
egg. So that's the whole point, really. So and I think all of this also it depends on how you use your time, which is going to be the next thing we're going to talk about. Because your time really, I know you should enjoy, but you always look for a way to get better. And you see that you can never be the best in the world. So that's the ideology I have. You will never be the best in the world. In the Messis, the Ronaldos of our age who are crowned the best in the world is because I would say they are just privileged to be in the eyes of the world.
Yeah.
We all know
They are
that
better
somewhere they are better people, but they are in the eyes of the world. And who knows, one day you could be in the eyes of the world for whatever you're doing. And which we'll talk about specialization. But the key from this is that you can actually do many things and be at least, let's say, 20% good. And 20% good, and a lot of critics will come at me, but 20% good would at least give you your basic need.
Yeah.
You don't, for instance, we're shooting this podcast and, we had to do some of the things ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's going to be out there. I mean, it's gonna be out there, and I think it's pretty better than somebody who would just get a phone and place it on his face, and then
You're calling people out.
I'm not calling anyone out because we had to do pretty much a bit of research to look at different ways on how to present ourselves, which will make it better. At least when obviously this is not cinematography style, but we are at least not just
that
doing
bad,
it exactly. So just to sum that area up, you can actually I don't want you to let people make you feel you are doing bad wherever you are. I've seen it. We've worked with some students. I would have loved to give a shout out to him, but I cannot remember his name. He's a very bright undergraduate student. I think he should be in his finals now. I met him when he was in his part 2. Bright young man. He took the skills we taught him. He went further. I think he went into Blender. And we taught him on Autodesk Inventor, and he's doing well. And he was like, come on, people say I'm jack of all trade, or they say I'm just a genius. And I said, no. You're just giving more time to it. So now,
because I remember. Okay, sorry.
Yes, please go on.
So I remember when I learned engineering design, using CAD softwares, and then I wanted to take it further. We wanted to take it further. After designing, we'll go and do animations, and then presentation. Put it on, put this thing on maybe a billboard or a banner or something and it was just we had a wild imagination, and then people were you don't because someone was telling me engineering design is not fancy, it's not a fan, it's not supposed to be a fancy. I was okay, I know, but I'm interested in making it look fancy, and I have the information available to me. Why can't I just access the information and make it look as fanciful as I would love to? I don't have to give my designs out to somebody else to make it look presentation ready.
Yes.
Something that I can do myself, and I'm interested in knowing how to do it. And then I work towards doing it.
Okay. So again, probably one other thing to note with our generation is that we have information.
Yeah.
Please, you don't know the amount of information we have access to that someone let's say Moses in the Bible will say, wow. You guys are blessed. So, you have the information, you have a phone, you have all it takes. All you just need is just some time. Separate yourself from the world, just go to somewhere, sit down. If you don't have access to resources, there are people you could just send messages to.
Yes.
I mean, I'm willing to invest more in someone who need access to resources.
Yeah, I think we're in a community. I think we're going to speak about our community. So, but we have a community, and we always have these kinds of students that stand out to us because it's something we are also interested in.
Yes, because we also try to stand out.
Yes, so we see them stand out not because they are good in one particular thing. So even though we tell them that at least maybe we had a boot camp 2 years ago, and then we told them that don't do more than I think 2 or 3 courses at the boot camp because the time was too limited. But I told them that afterwards you are free to look through what everybody else is doing and see. Okay, for example, because I'm a graphic designer, doesn't mean I can't learn MEP. For example, or it doesn't mean I can't go into maybe I think photography is
especially when you have age on your side. I mean,
yes, you have age and you have time on your side.
Yes.
It's not as if you are not doing one thing you claim that you're trying to be good at. Sometimes you're wasting that time. Why can't you just use that time to do something else?
Something productive, really. And so again, you have age on your side. Many of what would eventually do till we die would be something you just pick and specialize in. And but at that point in time, you now have a lot of burdens, you have your family, you have this and that. So as you're much younger, just try to have a broad knowledge. And
I think the issue of specialization, I think we're going to get there, is that specialization, like those are specialized. It's not no, I don't want to speak for everybody, but sometimes when you look at it, somebody was like a jack of all trades in the beginning, and you look at the person streamlined into something. It's not because the person's interests are gone or the person's skills are gone, but because maybe you don't have that much time to spend doing the thing, and then maybe you have access to like more resources or more money, and you're like, okay, I can pay someone to do this. Not because I can't do it myself, but I don't have that time to do it. Yeah. So it's not like the trade is not there, but like.
And eventually, people then look at you as probably you are too knowledgeable. But I think the generation before us, our parents' generation, I think they were also knowledgeable in many other things. I still love to argue politics with some of them than with my generation, because you're talking with your generation, and it's really not. I'm very political. You could have noticed if you probably follow me online, and then I have wholesome discussions with them. They give you facts, they give you details, but we now have more information, and then we try to circumvent ourselves to say jack of all trades. So just to sum up this aspect, you can be a jack of all trades. I would even encourage you to try to be a jack of all trades. We have YouTube. The singular use of YouTube, Google, and ChatGPT, for instance, can give you access to an enormous amount of knowledge. So now let's come back to the second aspect. So because my producers are saying time, so the next aspect would be, can you do that on campus as you aim for a first class? Let me have her speak.
Yes. So yes. So, but it all boils down to first personal interests, and number two, time management. Because it's not going to be easy. And there's some things that your mates are probably doing that you would have to excuse yourself from. For example, maybe normally you have like a clique of friends, you go out maybe every weekend to do whatever, maybe just to greet people or just to like play around.
Just like us at this time.
Just to play around and everything. And then because you're trying to, not like I'm aiming to be jack of all trades, but you have something else you're trying to work on. On the side, and you're like, okay,
and your academics must not suffer.
Exactly. So you take that time and you take that sacrifice of not doing something else. They call it forgone alternatives. Yeah. So you take that time and focus on something else. So when you're supposed to be maybe oversleeping, maybe you usually sleep like 8 hours, you can cut it short and use, even if it's just an hour or two. Like some of these things don't even require like that intense time. Like sometimes it just comes on you, and then maybe you have something to do,
or even repetition. If you probably begin to see, if you see 20 design videos, for instance, on just how to use Canvas. Is it Canva? Canva, sorry. On how to use Canva. 20 design videos will get you running. I mean, basically, on the best way to design.
Yes, so best practices. Yeah, and like we have resources available for you. It's not like you have to go to.
No, resources is online.
Yeah, online, like YouTube. I think a lot of people. I think that one of the reasons we are putting out a podcast is also to make people aware that we have these resources available. So it's not like you're not limiting yourself, and then like using the excuse of, I don't want to be a jack of all trades. You can't be. It's very possible, even as an undergraduate or like
because eventually you would not be.
Yeah.
As we've said in the earlier session, in the earlier parts, you would not even be a jack of all trades eventually. Because there's so much the human mind can do.
Yes.
But as much as the need comes, there should be that willingness. Not you're just laid back that it's not for me. I think that's one statement I don't like to hear. It's not for me. I'm done. I don't think it's not.
I think one thing I like to do is I like to flow in what I don't know every single thing about it, but I want to know enough to at least hold a conversation with somebody. Like you're talking about photography, I'm not just looking lost. Like what are they saying? Yeah, I'm hearing ISOs fly around. Like I don't understand. Yeah.
So on campus, that means it's possible.
Yes,
really possible. I would say this with all sense of humility that. Yes, you're going to sacrifice your time, obviously.
Yes.
Because today I'm privileged to, so in a way, I'm reluctant to say this, but I have a bit of let me be conservative. I have a bit of knowledge about foreign exchange. That's the Forex market, and I didn't have discussions with many people.
Sorry for conversation.
Yes.
Like when you started posting about Forex, I think 2 years ago or something, and then someone was asking me that is Timothy now a Forex trader? I was like, just because he's posting about it doesn't mean he has switched careers and is now that's what. So like you can. I think some people can't wrap their minds around that. You can actually be good at many things and not just okay. For example, like it's actually. Okay, they talk about personal branding, we understand that. But it's like, because I'm posting about, at some point I was posting about, because I dance a bit. I used to post about dance. I was like, oh, is that what you want to do now? I was like, okay, how many seconds does it take to dance? Yeah, like it doesn't really take that much time. Like you can just be like once in a week.
Exactly.
And then
and you it's not like you're going to compete on the world stage.
Exactly.
Like when I got into the foreign exchange market, I first of all, I wanted to demystify the whole idea around it, which I think it should be around my third year now. I'm going to have a podcast about that. I think I should say that here soon. I'm going to speak about that. That would be another aspect of my life.
I think you've had some videos already.
Yeah. But I want to take it slowly, so because my critics will come for me again and say he's just everywhere. But when I started it, the thing that got me thinking was, we had people, who abandoned school. I'm not calling anyone out, but they abandoned school.
I know what you're talking about.
I had friends. It was because of that career. Are they doing better than me today in the foreign exchange market? Yes. No. It's arguable. Maybe it's arguable, but I'm still getting to that stability that I will want to get to. But it's also been so. I now have the skill of I was focused in school. I didn't really take it until probably I was still at Spider when I started then. Again, thanks. Spider would be the mechanical engineering building.
Civil engineering building, actually.
Sorry. The civil engineering building in Obafemi Awolowo University. And thanks to people like Dr. Adiu that gave me that platform. And that is why I don't like to, we're not pushing our opinions on people. I think it's worthy to note. We're just trying to show you possibilities, especially when those possibilities are available, then you get opportunities.
Yes.
So, when my supervisor then was doing my research or my final year project, and then I just, you get bored really. And then I started looking at foreign exchange markets just by the side and all of that. And he actually encouraged me, he was like, oh, it's not new really. A lot of people had lost money in it, but it's something I could do. But the whole point is that you can do those things and still find time to be in school. So I think I would just encourage wherever you are. I think
it's to see possibilities.
Yes, and undergraduates, please don't just abandon school because you have something you are pursuing. Yes, you can eventually become very good at it, the Facebook of this world and all of that, but you can actually try to manage
give yourself that competitive advantage that okay, even though I am like we're still going to get into the whole school is scam kind of thing, but like
in another episode.
Yeah, just abruptly just leaving a program just because you felt like okay, it's not your way. Like I think there are some of these things, these skills that have taught us perseverance.
Exactly.
That has taught us like patience.
Foreign exchange.
Yeah, exactly.
You will learn perseverance. You will sit down and learn it.
So there's some things that you cannot just like do in a hurry.
Yeah.
So the 5-year program or 4-year program you have in
itself,
university,
it's perseverance.
Exactly, it's perseverance. Like you're building something. Like maybe you're building a CGPA, for example. Like it's something. Just see it as a project. You're building knowledge. You're building experience. Yeah. Like just see. Maybe if you don't really like the course, maybe see it that way.
The truth is, if you don't like the course, really, you could take time off. Or you could look for a course you want to do, because I think probably in the next episode we'll talk about how we even picked mechanical engineering, because it transcends to how we started the startup we had.
Yes.
But you can actually do these things. I'm trying to encourage you, don't try to give in to the societal demands. It just means it could be just an hour daily. I mean, just an hour daily, just an hour you used to scroll on Twitter. Could give you that.
Or just an hour spent gisting with your friends.
I'm not saying you should not be social.
No.
But you can have that advantage. So is it possible to be a jack of all trades?
Very.
I think it is very, and I think you should be.
And if you have like other opinions, I think you can share, because some people have brought out salient points about not being a jack of all trades. And yes, I understand their views. So like if you have your own opinions, obviously we don't, but like you said, we're not trying to force that everybody must be a jack of all trades. But if you have other opinions, other viewpoints, please leave it in the comment section.
Yes, and we'll try to treat it as much as possible. We could even host you here to let your opinions valid, and then we could have probably interactive, a debate holistically.
Yeah,
and then we would get to know how other people think. But I think it's possible, really. Yes, I must also speak from the fact that we might not have the same capacity in understanding. Now, what that means really is just that you have to take more time to learn things. It's not to say your brain is dead. My dad used to have an adage he told us. Shout out to him again. He was sounding strict then, but I think I appreciate him more now. He said, the fact that you know A to Z shows that your brain is not dead.
Rhymes. Right.
I did not do that purposefully, but I think that's the point, really. For you to know A to Z, it shows that you can learn just anything.
Yes.
Yeah, once you want to learn. So, spend that time, get some other knowledge, have an advantage when you speak, and then people will want to listen to you more. Again, till next week, we'll join you. You join us, or we'll join you again. To have a more robust discussion on different topics. Stay blessed.
Next time on Engineering Couple Podcast.
The goal really was for aeronautics, but a lot of factors came in, brought me into mechanical engineering.
So for me, it was a childhood dream. It's not like there was really motivation to it, and I'm always grateful to him for pushing me. He made a huge impact in my engineering career.
In choosing your career, you might not get it right.
We're both not born with like silver spoons. It was demanding. It was tasking at that time. I broke down crying.
I don't think many people even know that part of me.
Yeah.
That I used to fix phones. So whatever career you want to pick, the career is not the problem. It's your attitude towards it. Young and smart.